Good morning. Welcome to Tuesday. Welcome to our devotions for Tuesday. Welcome to this new day with all that it has in store for us. We want to give God thanks for this new day. As we say good morning to each other and indicate that it is good to know that we are here, we also want to give God thanks for this new day, for this new opportunity to be here in this world and to be able to derive whatever it is that God has in store for us. We know that we are souls on a journey, and we know that our intention is to grow and to become even more than we are. And so we want to thank each other for their support and presence as we each on our own path seek to move ahead and become what God would have us be. So we give thanks this day for all that we have and all that is before us. So we come now and we open ourselves before God. I want you for a few moments just to place your hands in any position that would speak to that sense of openness. And let your hands be a witness to your openness. An openness from the heart. An openness that seeks to invite the divine presence to come in. To come in and take its abode within us. And as we open to receive, want us to be aware of that sensation of receiving that divine presence. Feeling the energy around us. Feeling the presence. And knowing that we are not alone. That God is here. And also that God continues to surround us with those who are to assist us in this earthly pilgrimage. Some are in the flesh, and others are in spirit. But all with the same purpose of supporting us in this journey. So with an open heart, and with hands indicating that openness, we receive. We receive all that is here for us in this moment. And we give thanks for it all. The birds begin to wake It's dawn. Morning, lean into new light. Listen to well-ordered hills go by, rank upon rank in the sun. The sound of the earth goes up to embrace the constant sky. My own center is the teeming heart of natural families. I'm under the sky. The birds are all silent, but the frogs have begun singing their pleasure in all the waters and in the warm green places where the sunshine is wonderful. Praise Christ, all you living creatures. For him you and I were created. With every breath we love him. My psalms fulfill your dim unconscious song, O brothers in this wood. Offering now a reading from Thomas Merton. Merton says, "We are what we love. If we love God, in whose image we were created, we discover ourselves in him, and we cannot help being happy. We have already achieved something of the fullness of being for which we were destined in our creation. If we love everything else but God, we contradict the image born in our very essence, and we cannot help being unhappy because we are living a caricature of what we are meant to be. We are what we love," Merton says. If we love God, in whose image we were created, we discover ourselves in him. But if we don't love God, then we have the challenge of trying to find out who we are. And in a sense, we're contradicting that whole image that is born in us. These are simple words by Brother Thomas today, but they're powerful words. I want us to just reflect on them for a few moments as we start this day. Do we love God, or do we love everything else but God? I guess in a sense, many of us have come up in a tradition where there's been more emphasis on fearing God than loving God. And it is amazing, when we think that we claim to be people of the new covenant. We claim to be followers of Jesus. And Jesus' entire message was a message of the love of the Father, the love of God. He introduces to us this idea of the Father with the intention that we will understand that God is desirous to have this relationship with us in which He is Father. There were glimpses of it in the Old Testament where God continued to indicate to the people of the Hebrews that He will be their God and they will be His people. But that image still had within it an understanding of God that was in many respects shaped by the people of the day and the various cultures. The gods were always to be feared. The gods were always to be placated. You had to do something to appease the gods so that you can have a good harvest, or that the land would produce, or that women will bear children. You always had to do something to make the gods happy. And somehow we have brought that over. And while we may not be there making human sacrifices, there's still that fear. And I think a lot of that fear has to do with the desire through the ages of persons to have control over the lives of others. Because if we really embrace this loving God, this Father, and we think about it, we know that a father will always be a father. Even if he goes away, he will always be a father. He will always be the one who assisted in one's coming into this world. So there's a bond, whether the Father chooses to acknowledge it or not. But we hear through Jesus' words that this is a Father that desires to recognize the bond. This is a Father that loves His children. And so we've got to look and see whether we are able to accept that love. Whether we can appreciate that love. Or whether we continue to live in the mode of fear. Brother Thomas suggests that when we love God, we get to know ourselves. Because God has created us in God's image. So as we get to know God, we get to discover who we are. And I believe that that's the sole purpose of our existence, to remember who we are, to know ourselves. And in knowing ourselves, there is great joy. Because we are like persons that have come home after being away for a long time. There's this inner joy to be home. This is something that I believe we all experience daily. Whenever we leave our homes and we have to go out to work or on some assignment or some errand, there's that joy to be home. To get home, to take off your shoes, to get rid of the street clothes, and to just be you. Be you as you know yourself to be. I think this is what Brother Thomas is talking about. And he believes that it is accomplished only when we love God and when we know ourselves through God. So give this some thought as you go about your day today. Just ever so often, just reflect on who you are and how do you know who you are. And then give some thought to this God who loves you, in whose image you are created. And all you are being asked to do is to receive the love. Because in receiving the love, you love in return. When I receive the love of God, I become love. And I can't help but love. There is true purpose in our existence. And it is important that we discover that purpose. Let's not drift into that place where God becomes a distant memory, when everything else becomes of greater importance in our lives than God. We can't afford in this time to walk around in blindness, to not know who we are, to pretend, to create ideas of self that are shallow and in so many ways do not stand the test. They really pale in the presence of our true selves. So here you are in this new day, just having had the opportunity to rest the past night. Here you are. Whenever you are given the opportunity or take the opportunity to watch this devotion and listen to it, here you are, right in this moment, preparing in a sense for the next moment. And I'm asking that you endeavor to allow the next moment to be a moment in which you know yourself a little more. And to do that will require that you, in some way or another, develop that gift, that wonderful gift of loving God with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your soul, and with all your strength. And when we do that, the rest comes easy. We can love our neighbor as ourselves. Because in loving God in total, we know ourselves. And when we know ourselves, we know that we are our neighbor. And so to love our neighbor, we love our neighbor as we love ourselves. All roads point back to what love is. May we come to know that love and know it in its fullness.